Make sure that everything, of course, is entirely live. Let's see if there's a delay. Good stuff. Yes, ma'am. Do this real quick, like. There you go. That's the good stuffs. That's the good stuffs. Yeah. Alright. Oh, god damn it. That figures. This is why you look to see if those updates on your phone are actually for the thing you need to use in order to keep track of this shoiza. The hoiza. But instead, I didn't do that, and now I have a freaking YouTube update that's installing instead. So that's helpful. That's gonna burn a couple of minutes off the clock. Especially considering for some reason it's taking a long time to install a 25 megabyte update. That makes total sense. Shouldn't be taking as long as it is. Rude! Okay, that's better. Now, to take a quick gander for my Shiza. Gotta swap over channels so it actually will allow me to watch and see my own stream so I can keep track of chat and all that good stuff because I'm a single monitored basic bitch. Not your channel. Switch account. And then, once we get there, we go her. There you go. Very nice. It's not letting me. There it goes. It was lagging, so wasn't letting me alter, or I should say, rearrange the audio levels for my phone so I don't have to hear the echo of myself. Oh yeah. I don't know why, but recently I was recording a podcast episode and for some reason my mic was like way louder than I had it set before. Actually, now that I look at it, I must have bumped it up like to halfway on the dial. That was dumb. Anyway, let's actually get to doing what we're here to do. So, we're going back here to play in a US MIP in Mr. Twister. It's going to be very nice. That's a nice full screen mode. It's not actually full screen because you're demanding I need to go to pro. You advertising nitwits. Anyway, I didn't even realize, I don't think I realized that there's actually a full screen mode anyway. That's actually kind of handy. You don't even have to F11. I'll just do it for you. Alright, so, cactus, you do say. I see a palm tree that very clearly looks like it's out of place. One thing I can say for sure is this is a much better taken care of neighborhood. Much better than anywhere else I've seen, especially in Texas. So I don't think it's Tejas. It doesn't look like it at all. Yeah, I'm willing to bet you this is California off the bat. It still could be Texas. It is flat as fork, but hard to say. I mean, you have free public parking. I like how it's a slightly altered font from normal. Isn't it adorable? It's so very lovely. Tourist Center. I like how they specifically outline that for some reason. And Civic Center. Let me guess, they're the same thing. 59th Avenue. Specifically, it's North 59th Avenue. Big ass. Post office box. I don't think that's a Yugo. I think that is an old VW. Old Bronkadonk. That's Sienna. Alright. We're gonna start adding this thing. Yay! I don't think there's anything more than cactus transport, but there's nothing more on here, which is exactly what I thought. That's why I was willing to pass it. But then, I was trying to be careful instead because I interrupted my own choice making there because I am smart. Oh, it's Bohonix, Arizona. So I was right about the fact that the palm trees don't belong. There's a lot of different phoenixes out there, but I mean, we even have one here in Oregon, but nope, it ain't that, obviously. It's obviously Bohonix, Arizona. Myrtle Street. Alright, well. 59th and Myrtle. Solid Rock, Phoenix. I don't know, just sell like help from above PSA. Oh. Oh, it's a church of some sort. I gotcha. Does not look like that's a church. That looks like that's a warehouse where they botch people's lobotomies and then just stuff them inside these pods or something. I'm in a kind place today. Pahonix, Arizona. The heart of Sonora. I keep thinking Pahonix is further north. It's actually always really far south. Also, the fact that it takes people on average 2 hours to go from Tucson to Pahonix is just not right. There's something wrong with that. It's just real sad. Anyway, somewhere in Pahonix, 59th. So it's not quite down. It's not very close to downtown. Although it depends on how tightly packed together the streets are, which downtown they are very packed. All the way up through here too. 59th Avenue. It's north, so we know it's on the north end of the city. 59th Avenue and I already forgot. Well, crap. What are you again? Moidle, the Toidle Street. Alright, Moidle. Moidle Twee. Twee. Moidle Twee. 7th. Oh! Their numbered streets go north-south. I was expecting to go east-west for some reason. I was just automatically assuming. Well, that's rough. Yeah, that doesn't really make any sense, because why would it be... I mean, it goes north-south, the streets, but they call them north-south rather than... I don't know, or for some reason that feels really turned around and backwards in my head. You'd think you'd do it reverse, where you'd want the north... Or I guess no, because I'm thinking east. So you'd think they'd say northeast, not north, all the way east, or all the way west and all the way east. But for some reason they do say that. So there's no indication of which side of the center of the city is on, which sucks. Central Avenue, 7th again. Stop doing that. Also, I keep forgetting I can increase the size of this, which is ultra helpful. I need to remember how to do that. I guess I gotta pin you so that you're not gonna go away from me just because I start taking some time. Wow. That is a hell of a lot of districts and neighborhoods. Like, do you need to make each district and neighborhood that tiny? The hell? Oh, great. There's a church on every corner again. Oh, why not? Half of them probably aren't even used very often. Because there's so freaking many. What am I looking for? Yeah, I think it's got to be west, not east. Because you kind of just hit that park in those mountains and hills. So, 51st. We're looking for 59th. That's north-south. See, I would think that this is more... I guess it's kind of east-west. I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm an idiot. That's what I am. As if we didn't know that. Oh, it's actually 59th is a major street. That's actually a substantial distance between... this isn't Earth, so it doesn't tell me how far on the scale is. But that's actually a good distance between those two. And I hate that none of these streets... Look at this. There's no through street here. There's absolutely none. Like, there's no through streets anywhere in this, except for here. There's one single through street. None of the rest of these streets do anything but basically loop back on themselves and dead end. I despise that kind of American road planning. It makes no freaking sense. It's very intentional. Because they want to funnel you down a specific way so that, see, they can plant you into commercial centers. After you get stuck in this haunt for a long time. This isn't remotely as bad as it's getting here in the west side of Portland area, but Jesus. We're actually getting into Glendale when we're over here too, so interesting. Phoenix Solid Rock, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for Myrtle Street. Moidle the Toidle. This one just simply straight up says Myrtle. It doesn't say west or east. It just says Myrtle, which is kind of annoying. Oh, this one doesn't say north either, so... North... 7200N, which we think would mean north. But that's not how these streets work, apparently, because they go literal and very deliberate in what they're doing. So, that's helpful, isn't it? It is very nice. Yes, it is. It's okay. Cactus self-storage. I take it there's a lot of places in Phoenix that are called Cactus. Cactus transport, cactus landscaping, Cactus, cactus, cactus. We get it. You have cactuses because you're in the heart of the Great Basin. We get it. Good for you, Sonora. As if the world didn't know that already. These, however, do not belong. And you wonder where all your water goes to. Golf courses, resorts, and of course, your frickin' palm trees. Palm skis. You're tropical, not arid. And you're in arid, so what do you expect? You have to water them nonstop. I think I've ranted about that before. Well, I think it was in one of the episodes I recorded that I still have not gotten to editing because I am a lazy bitch. Let's see. You can tell I'm actually somewhat annoyed with myself. Broad Streets. It's what's kind of tripping me up is technically we're in Glendale now. When we're on 59th. And it's tripping me up because we're not in Glendale. We're supposedly in Phoenix. Do you go along this? Does it change back to the borders? Like just follow some other street, like one of these east streets, and then officially change? Everybody has a Greenbrier. That's not even debatable. Everyone in the entire nation, small or big, has a Greenbrier. Especially if it's named Parkway. For some reason. Midwestern University is nowhere near the Midwest. Nicely done. I don't know. It doesn't appear like there's any of this man-made waterways either, so I don't... Yeah, it's getting too far out of the way. Well, I guess it's time we slapped down and click somewhere. Or I jump to the other side of the city just to see if maybe, which I strongly doubt, there's a 59th somewhere around there. Crocus. Crocus's art, some of the best fleurs in the entire world. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Larkspur. Everybody has Larkspur too. There's Cactus Road. So everything's called Cactus, as I said before. Everything was going to be called Cactus in Phoenix, and lo and behold, there's the third cactus we found. Third thing with the name. Oh, it's actually right at Calctus. I was about to say Calctus. That's a good one. You want to culk your cactus across the river? Calculus. It's a cactus and those calculus. Crocus. I don't know. It has to continue on both sides of the street, so it's not there either. Marshall Ranch. Oops, that's a bit far. Unitarian Universalist Church. I gotcha. So, in other words, you're undecided what exactly you want to classify yourself. Classify yourself as. And we're back in Glendale again. Crap. Well, I don't know what to look for. I mean, we're staring at the street names, the crossroads, but that's not to say that just missing something entirely. It actually goes quite a way down here. Therefore, it could be as well. Payne Lane. Nope. West Virginia, Moulton Manor. Catalina dressing is Osborne. Indian school. Makes me think of Jackson School. Everybody has a something or another school in their cities too, it seems like. Especially closer to the suburbs like this. Camelback. Campbell. Coulter. Missouri. Montebello. Well, I already know I've been around here. Bethany Home. It seems like everyone has a Bethany as well. Like, there's no creativity in this nation whatsoever. It's like, screw creativity. We're just going to name everything the exact same. Glendale Avenue. Like I said, Glendale Avenue going through Glendale, you don't say. Who would have thunk? Who would have thought that That would happen. But I mean, this point you're gonna start going towards the college town. It starts with a T, right? I can't remember. For some reason, I'm not remembering the other names of the other cities. So that's nice. And I have to zoom back in again because there's a billion. Oh my god, we have to really zoom in. There's 1,000,000,007 different neighborhoods. Sorry, my stomach and my diaphragm are having an MMA moment. You say, what, 59th Avenue? It doesn't appear like it's that major, though. Obviously, it's much more major than this. This is definitely a side street. But I guess it is 2 lanes on this side. It's one of those uneven ones, those unsymmetrical ones that have 2 lanes on one side and 1 on the other, which is kind of strange. But sure. I suppose it has its porpoises. I just don't really know where. Holy hell. 59th, which doesn't appear to exist around here. Scottsdale, that's one of the other ones I was thinking of, but that's not the college town. College town's further east. Yep, nope. Too many ridge lines to find a 59th in existence. Well, that's nice. These are both North 55th. Well, one's 55th Place, one's 55th Street, but they're both named 55th. That makes total sense. Phoenix Municipal Stadium. Hall of Flame Fire Museum. The Salt River Project. And the National Weather Services. Thank you for sponsoring this television show. Calypse. It's a curious name. See the 7th. Yep. I don't think I'm gonna find. And suddenly 75th. Well, alright, fine. And then back to 57th. Because, you know, sure. What? Actually, this is North 75th Place. But this is also North 75th Place. But then this is North 75th Place. But wait, there's more. This is North 57th or 75th Place. And then guess what? There's more. This is North 57th or 75th Place. What kind of logistics is this? What nightmare world where they like, this makes sense? Just don't think about it and it'll make perfect sense. And we're just going to keep it that way. Whether they like it or not, they're going to suck it and they're going to deal with it. 58th. Again, this another thing I can rant about. North 58th dead ends, you think, except you go almost like a half a block over, and then it continues north 50th. Why? Why not just make that the next street down? Yeah, and then 59th isn't 59th anymore. Now it's Shokake. What? Get out. 62nd. They just skipped 59th entirely. They skipped 60th as well because that becomes Paradise Way. Notice how it doesn't carry through. And look, it's the same street when it curves, but after the curve, it becomes East Cal del Norte. Cal del South, Cal del North. Why? Del. Why is that a thing? Why do city planners do that? It's so freaking annoying. God, it doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, this is technically 59th, but and then see how it's the same street, but they decided to change it to Phoenician Boulevard. Oh my god. My planner / transit minded type mind is just like having a fit right now. Looking at all this stuff. I guess it's the day to have a fit yet. Nope, yeah. So I think it's gonna be definitely on the well, technically Glandale. Glandale. I live in Glandale. I'm having very big dyslexic moments speech-wise today. I don't know where it came from. I wasn't having that until I started this, and now it's just like my brain's like, well, time to reverse everything and transfix letters and syllables. Yay. Somewhere on 59th. That's all I know. The only thing I've seen of note is literally that sign that's like, hey, look, there's a cheer. I guess that's I can continue this way and get a look at some more signs, because there is street lights up there, but there's also a street light just back here. So I started next to a street light and I didn't really, or no, actually I think I crossed that street light now that I think about it. Didn't I? Yeah, I started right next to it. I don't know. I'm an idiot. That's not it. It's so jumpy. Why are you so racist? Okay, go over here. There you go. That's better, you fat fuck. A Napa Auto Parts. That's super helpful. That's gonna really help me pinpoint things, because it's not like everybody has a Napa, because they do, especially if you're in the suburbs, which we are and aren't apparently. We're in Phoenix, but we're not in Phoenix. You know, it's one of those scenarios that makes total sense, because insert another rant here about how nothing fucking makes sense anymore. It never has made sense in that case in city planning in this nation. Oh yeah, that's a major street. It's at an angle too. So, actually, here's the big question. You ready? Which street is actually at the angle? Because a lot of times it looks, they might actually both be at angles, now that I think about it. But a lot of times the street that you swear is at the angle, you'll look on a map and realize it's actually the other street that's at the angle, and you didn't think it was. It's how, like, you're around where I live. It doesn't matter where you are. When you try and orient yourself without looking at a map or anything, you just look, you're like, okay, that's west. But you're standing at the max tracks at a max station that's going the opposite direction, or, you know, a completely different direction than the way you're pointing. But it is literally also going west. And then you realize where you live is also following the max tracks down to the west. But then if you planted yourself further south and turned 90 degrees, for some reason you'd still be going west. Because it turns out just even slightly angling streets makes entire nothing but brain fucks happen when it comes down to stuff. So that's why I asked that question as a half joke. It's like, which street here is actually at the angle? And it could actually turn out, that's apparently a trick question. I didn't realize that they're both at an angle. It makes orienteering very difficult, because west can become the same, they can become two different directions are both going westbound, and it doesn't make sense, but it does. It's really weird. Grand Avenue and Myrtle. Okay, so Myrtle. Oh, wait, we're on Myrtle? Are we quite sure about that? This is, oh yeah, I guess it would be. I thought it was on 59th for some reason the entire time. We're on Myrtle, the Tweedle Avenue. And Grand Avenue. Cheney's. That actually looks fairly recently put in. Within like 2 years probably of this being taken in this year apparently. So, Myrtle, which I still have not seen for the life of me, and apparently it is a major street. And Grand Avenue, which, have I seen a Grand? I don't think I have. There's Glendale Avenue again. Oh, wait. Is this not an interstate? This isn't an interstate, is it? God damn it. I bet you this isn't an interstate. This is an actual legitimate highway, not a freeway. Well, I feel like it's gotta be an interstate, though. Right? Yeah, it has off and on ramps. What the flip-dick am I looking at? Okay, well, Phoenix Wickenburg Highway. Yeah, US 60. It still could be a freeway. It might not be. The way it looks right here kind of looks like how they outline when it's raising or going under. Usually raising. So I think these are overpasses, but I'm not entirely sure. That's another kind of off-ramp type thing. It's not to say that there isn't actually intersections with this thing, but as far as I can tell, it's not. This is legitimately a freeway. Yeah, see the tunnels under here. So that's nice. Because I every once in a while I forget that we have the difference between a freeway and a highway. Obviously, plays a big part. So if it's actually a true highway, like say 99 here on the West Coast that parallels either west or east of I-5, you have a horror show. Not only traffic and everything else, because you shouldn't even be there, but it's a highway, which means it has this kind of a thing. It has a bunch of different intersections, traffic lights, driveways, parking lots, everything directly on it, so it just makes everything a horror show to try and commute through. But turns out that is indeed a freeway and not a highway. You know, it's called a highway, and this is why it is incredibly imperative that people stop calling freeways highways and highways freeways. There's a very big difference between the two. One's called freeway, and it's in its name why it's called what it's called. So it's self-explanatory. It has all the off and on ramps because there's no such thing as an intersection or a stop point. Thus, it's free, a freeway. A highway, it's also in the name what it does. It's high speeds. It's higher speeds than your normal roads. Therefore, it allows you to go like 50, 60 miles an hour inside of a city or suburb. And it has usually 3 lanes on each side, not always. Sometimes 2. Actually, sometimes it even goes down to 1 on each side, but still. I don't know why I'm back into this mode where I really badly want to get it as accurate as possible. But I think part of this, good English. I think a part of this is just because of the fact that I'm getting really annoyed by the lack of logical road layouts and plannings here. And so I'm just like, you know what? Fuck you. I'm going to get this right whether you want me to or not. Wait. Crap. See, that makes sense. It's the same thing as Country Gables Drive until it turns smaller and goes around the Christian University. And then suddenly it's North 57th because that makes sense. Obviously, it's carrying the name from this, but it's still dumb. You're dumb. You're stupid. I hate you. This turned at an angle right here. Not to say that that makes any sense. It's Bo. We need Grand and Myrtle. We're on 59th. Okay, that's probably my problem. I just realized I'm still following 59th as if I'm on 59th. I need to look for a Myrtle and or a Grand. If I can find one of those two. See, I just wasted so much time. If I can find one of those two, even though I did cross the 59th, but that's not to say that I should stick around this, because I don't think I've seen any signs of 2 major roads that are Myrtle and Grand Avenue in Moidle. Realistically, what I really should be looking for is roads that are at angles. If I can find roads that are at angles, or at least one road that's crossing another road at a heavy angle, then I'd be able to really pinpoint, I think, where I'm at. But then also, why is it that I can't find, or how is it that I touched a 59th, I guess, is the question. So considering all the north-south streets apparently are always, especially if they're major, are always named by the numbers. So it doesn't really actually allow me to do much. That kind of sucks. Oh, I like that too. East McDonald Drive is this entire thing. Well, it's not. It's actually from here around the curve halfway, and then once this street intersects, it becomes North Tatum Boulevard. And after this street, it becomes North 44th Street. And then this is East McDonald Drive. How does that make any sense? You guys are killing me here. What the hell is that? Get out of my life. Out of my wife, out of my dog, out of my cat, and out of you. See, all I know is we are in fact supposedly in Phoenix, if I'm to believe things, but it could be anywhere in the metro area, I guess, at this point. And they could just carry on that name of Pahonix. I'm also leaning really close to my mic again, so that's probably getting really loud, especially considering I'm also getting annoyed with a lack of logic. Deer Valley Road, but that's obviously not a name I came across. I am sad. I'm not really seeing any roads that are at angles until you get out here. But that's, once you get out towards the hills, and it makes sense, you're going to find a lot of that. See, this one's officially noted as a freeway, because it is. This is, of course, the interstate logo, so you know that's a freeway. Downtown Pahonix. Have I actually been really far north of... That's my... Is that really what I did? I thought I went straight into Phoenix. I'm an idiot. I was actually zoomed way north of Phoenix. That was probably part of the problem. I'm an idiot. Wasting all of mine and everyone else's time. There's your 59th. Van Buren, Buckeye, Lower Buckeye. Inventive. Indian School again. Thomas McDowell. Do you have a vignette over here? Well, I was going to say you probably do. Actually, you don't, probably, because you're entering Scottsdale. So it's still got to pretty much be to the west, I would imagine. Although I'm still emphasizing 59th, just because I feel like it's important to remember there was a 59th nearby, but that's not necessarily the case. Maybe I'm just an idiot. Probably am. Where's an angled road? God damn it. See, we're back in downtown Glendale. It's actually, okay, I guess I wasn't that far north of downtown. I was up in here, is where I was looking through things. I went down to about here, to about in school. So, to be fair, I wasn't as far off as I thought I was, but that's, I guess this is an angled street right here, isn't it? That's grand. Isn't it grand? Oh, God, help us all. All right, well, then it kind of narrows it down to really close to downtown, apparently. You would think. Although this is Grand, I'm on Myrtle. I'm not sure if Grand picks up again. I don't think it does. Do we really need to be that much more zoomed in to see things? Like, seriously? What is this street? It's Thomas Road. Does it stay Thomas? It won't tell me because there's neighborhood names and then there's going to be business names. But yes, it says Thomas. Grand Avenue. Indian School. Did Grand Avenue dump out or continue anywhere? No, it doesn't. Grand Avenue pretty much turns into... It does, in fact, it doesn't pretty much turn into, it does turn into US Route 60. So that's not helpful either. Oh no. McDowell. Roosevelt. And it stops here at Van Buren. So... But that is Grand Avenue. Ah. What the flip dick? So I'm looking for Myrtle, but Myrtle doesn't exist anywhere on the entire existence and length of Grand. So that's Grand. What the heck, Portland Street? Pierce, Taylor. Van Buren, Polk. All after presidents. Former presidents. Boulevard. Monte Vista. Vista. Like, McDowell seems like it would be potentially the same street. Oh, I don't understand what I'm missing. Cheery Lane, Osborne Road, 31st Avenue, Weldon Avenue. Actually, that does end on Grand. So does this. Oh, not Grand. Well, Grand slash US 60. Wait a minute. But then everything else functions more in a sense of... Once you get just past this and this, it functions without being an intersection. Like, it's underpasses and overpasses and on-ramps and off-ramps. And then from there... Oh no, these go directly into it too. Are you kidding? Oh, man. So, maybe just because of this I got really misled. Maybe it actually... It's Camelback. And 43rd. Oh yeah, it still is considered Grand. So I guess this is... Well, no, it does stop definitely after that. There's no streets that directly connect with it anymore. Is right? Yeah, because I think this one goes directly into this, and then it just has that on-ramp there. It's Bethany Home Road. And 51st goes over it, it appears. This one goes directly into it, but then it has an on-ramp thing too, so maybe it goes out of it. This comes directly off of it, yeah. It still says Grand. That's really, really, really tough to notice unless you zoom this close in. I'm not even gonna lie, it really is. It's really tough. That is Glendale Avenue. Ocotillo or Ocotillo? Ocotillo. Sorry. Tio. But 59th is right here. So I feel like this, which is Glendale Avenue, should actually be Myrtle. But this is still Grand Avenue. Although I did pass 59th. I don't know which way I'm going. I think it normally associates this as going east, so I'm actually going west, I think. So actually, this could be further. Yeah, Myrtle Avenue right here. Did Google change the way they show up roads on their Street View maps like this? Actually, that's where we are now. That's not where we were. 59th. We were like somewhere back in here. So we were actually in Glendale. And we were on Grand, or no, we weren't on Grand. We were on Myrtle the entire time. No, we weren't. I'm just being a moron. We were going due west. Is what we're doing. Because see, I thought this would be east, so that does help a little bit. It's 59th. So it's actually somewhere. I don't think it's too far back from 59th. I think it was like. I don't know. I'm gonna go with like. We were probably. I'm assuming like. Somewhere between here. I'm gonna go with probably. I'm just gonna go like right at the intersection, just to get this over with. 300. We were supposedly on the other side of 59th. See, that doesn't make any sense. We weren't. I had to cross 59th. Like, it took me probably like 30 minutes just to do this, by the way. It's just dumb. I need to get myself out of that mode of not being super freaking precise. Because it's very annoying to allow myself to be so precise. No joke. It's really freaking annoying. So I'm gonna get out of full screen mode really quickly, and I'm gonna quickly check to see how long it's been. Yeah, almost 40. Jeez. Just on one single place, just because it was getting I got into that hyper analytical mood, which is annoying. It's like it was exactly what I was like. I don't feel like I'm gonna be in that mood today. It's starting immediately. Wait a minute. Damn it. I gotta analyze everything to such a deeply detailed and overdone extent. It's colorful. Christianity is big. So, probably with a good Spanish heritage and population base. I've never seen the star, but I don't think it's Texas. It might be. Actually, yeah, it definitely could be. But, I Street and Wall Street. Mama Roomba. Huh. Interesting choice of restaurant. Well, it starts with a G. We know that much. It also forms galley. That's the point of that. I like this artwork just because it's super colorful and it's decently intricate. But the style and all of that, I don't really like myself personally. Can I go down the street? Oh, I can. I'm trying to figure out the orientation of these signs. I guess this is Wall Street. Wall Street is this, so this actually does count as a street. It doesn't look like it would. It counts as an alley, right? I feel like it should be going down that way though, because it'd be kind of well, I would say closer to the main drag, but we're gonna go down this way. It's Warner Brothers cartoon. I think this is the very first time I didn't really have an outright guess for where we could be. I still have a feeling it's more likely to be like San Antonio area than it is to be, or Houston maybe, probably San Antonio though, than it is to be brain, please. SoCal, but it still could be SoCal. Like, even just in general, if you think about it, you have the Warner Brothers cartoon, stuff like that. So, I mean, there's always potential that this could be, I don't know, like near Universal City or something. Is that a bow tie? I think it's a really shitty quality bow tie. Jerry's Pizza and Pub. And of course, you have Jasmine Thai Cuisine and Pho Noodle. On Chestnut Avenue, I assume is what that is. No, it's Chester. Okay. Good job. You failed at blurring that out really well. And then actually, it's right here. You can see the hours and everything too. So, didn't give enough effort this time around. I'm kind of appreciative of that. I want to see what this sign is all about. Peace. Probably love. Party, it looks like it says there. Does it say unity? Party. Hung. I kind of intended to go that way originally, but now it looks like it's just flat and blank. Not to say that with those palm lines, actually, there could be like a resort or a golf course or something back in there. I mean, you know, it could still be Florida, but I strongly doubt this is Florida. It does not have a Floridan vibe. Is that Yests? With a Y? Yes Market? Yests? Alright, well, let's move. 19th Street. And Chester Avenue. Wait, did the... Oh, the sign disappeared. So it's a different day. Because I don't think I passed under it yet. Sign's still not there. This way. Sign's still not existing. The banner, whatever you want to call it. Then here, I assume it should show up. No, it's still not far enough in its royal opinion. Bonk. I just realized how lowered that truck is. That's just sad. It also looks like it's a Cadillac in the front. Oh, that's right. Cadillac did technically, at one point, because of General Motors, they decided to copy the Avalanche. But that's nothing like an Avalanche. That just straight up looks like they're like, let's take a Silverado and make it into a Cadillac for some reason. Like, that was a dumb idea. All American, jewelry and loan. Yeah, it sounds southern enough. Have all the religion, you know, flamboyantly plastered all over the place and muraled, and then you have suddenly, of course, you have that, the palm trees suggesting it, but you also have the Spanish heavy stuff in there, and you can tell there's a lot of Spanish cultural stuff. I mean, even that subtle pinkishness definitely is Spanish influence. Then you have the whole, you know, ultra heavy patriotism to the U.S. For some reason, I think I'm starting to lose my voice. I'm not sure why. That's odd. Normally, I talk a hell of a lot on the weekends, but for some reason, well, this weekend I barely talked at all. I haven't really recorded or done anything lately, and yet I feel like my voice is starting to give out for some reason. That's interesting. Vests. That's what it is. It's vests. Vests Market. I might invest in that. Ha 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 ha. I'm gonna go kill myself now. You know, I feel like these street signs are vaguely familiar for some bizarre reason. Probably have seen. Oh, you know what? This actually, I was thinking San Antonio area, and in that, of course, I'm thinking I should say Austin as well, because let's face it, they're basically twin cities. They're so close together. So are their suburbs that you might as well consider it the San Antonio-Austin metropolitan area rather than just as if they're separate, because they're really not that far apart. Especially as they start to sprawl and grow. But this could easily be Austin, and this is the Arts District, obviously. In fact, yeah, I just realized that's what that says, district. So, this... Because I know that Austin's famous for its art scene. It's like the big, artsy, hipster city. I mean, San Antonio's getting more that way, too. But San Antonio is more cultural and food-oriented, whereas Austin's like the arts that San Antonio doesn't necessarily have. And then a kind of luxury, I'd say, too, for the, like, simple luxury for San Antonio, like the Riverwalk and the you know, paddle boat tours or paddle boats, not paddle boat, but it's they use this giant sticks that push you along, kind of like in Venetia in Italy always has things like that. Kind of fancy Mediterranean cosmopolitan style simplicity of luxury, unnecessary things like that. That is probably a television station of some sort. Because holy hell. Clifford and Bradley. I don't think it says Bradley. Bradlore? It looks like it says Bradlore. I don't think it does that either. But I'm willing to bet you that's probably a lawyer's office. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, indeed. Well, I'm not finding anything that would really give it away as to where we are, which is helpful. I do love that. That is wonderful. Shall we just do the opposite of what I normally would do, and instead of trying to find and identify exactly where I am, just take a cheap shot and be like, because I am really confident that it is San Antonio, Austin area. Be like, I'm going to be like, let's just slap it down somewhere in between or somewhere in one of the two cities and just see how far off we actually are. Seems so familiar. That has to be a Texas thing. The star with the stripes kind of flowing in a weird way like that. Because Texas has such a weird branding obsession with branding themselves. It's like, we're the Lone Star State! Woo! It's like, oh, great, good for you. What? Like, I don't know, it's kind of interesting. They love to advertise it to everybody. Like, I'm from Texas. It's like, good for you. I'm glad you're happy about it. Like, it ain't what I'm looking for, though. I'm gonna go with. I really do. I'm definitely gonna go with a skate shop. Body jewels along with skates. Wow, that's an interesting bongo. I was gonna say bongo. What? That's not English. That's not English. That's just race. Bradford. That makes sense. That's just racist. Ah, you know I have to be. Fox C. It's Foxy, see? I'm gonna kill myself again. Let's see. SWAT! Special Weapons and Tactics, I believe, is what SWAT stands for, right? If I remember correctly. Just like SRU is Strategic Response Unit, which they basically kind of do the same thing. It's just that SWAT is more, I guess you could say, terrorism or open weapons threat oriented than SRU, whereas SRU is more, I guess you could say, mentally troubled people who they feel like they can negotiate with and talk down, but they still have kind of the same equipment and stuff. I like how also the quality just changes massively. And also, I'm gonna bet you this, well actually it's autumn. I was gonna say it's probably winter, just because it looks kind of crisp, the temperature. Like, that's another thing about this imagery, is this looks like it's like, yeah, probably mid-autumn to mid-winter. It's a warmer place, but it looks kind of like it's probably, I'd say it looks like it's maybe in the 40s. It just has a look to it like that. There's another one of those towers. Nile. Well, that's Nile Crocodile. Alta S. Kreitz building. This is 1937. It doesn't look that old, so they do a really good job. Oh, it's probably actually been refaced a lot. I think about it. That's probably why. Arts district. They love to point out it's the arts district. Wouldn't you know? 200. 661. This is SF afterward, but that doesn't necessarily say it's anywhere around that area. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with San Antonio or Austin. I will admit, though, it does seem like it's a smaller place because it doesn't look like there's much of a skyline anywhere. Like, if you look in any particular direction, technically these are low-rise. They're not even quite mid-rise buildings yet. They're pretty dang small. I'm actually really not sure. I like how I'm going the wrong way voluntarily. I'm not even sure where the heck this actually might be. Like, I'm still confident it's in that Texas area, but I don't freaking know. It could still be Padre Hotel. It could still be just as easily um like SoCal. Although the trees aren't quite right for that either. So actually, I don't really freaking know. Like theater dance experience. Somebody, another Miriam or something. I don't know. The app. So the two numbers are 200 or they are 661 for the area codes. Padre Hotel. Father Hotel. Yay. I mean, when they say arts district, they mean it. There's just nothing but all these different arts things and like things you'd expect in those districts. Fox. Oh, is that the Fox Theater? Well, here's another thing. There's a billion different Fox theaters. So that's not, and that's historical, but it's not necessarily that Fox theater in particular. But see, now I don't know. And I did say I didn't understand how I would, I guess that's the biggest building, by the way. I, Nile, I think Nile is a theater, right? Yeah, it is. Oh, it looks like it's not functioning. Crap. Now I'm starting to think this is Southern California somewhere. Although this just every time I look at this, I'm like, no, it's definitely Texas. Fuck hell. I don't understand how I would know, or I should say, like how I would be able to necessarily tell where this is, and just have that kind of a sense of like, I swear I've seen certain things like this before, including those street signs. Be like, and it being Texas, like I think if anything that would if it was SoCal, that would actually kind of explain why I'm having that feeling and that thought of like I swear I have this recognition just because of the fact that you see Southern California in a multitude of different ways all the freaking time. But to save time and not take forever, I'm actually gonna stop myself continuing. And I'm still not going to allow myself to second guess myself because I usually end up really wrong when I do that. So I'm going to still go with the San Antonio slash Austin area. Like they look a lot further than they are apart. And then you have basically all of these different townships connect the two. So they're basically the same thing. Like it's pretty ridiculous to consider them so separate. So I don't really know. I don't really feel like it's Austin, even though Austin is very ostentatious. Huh? No, it's very like modern luxury. They're trying to make it into like the hipster capital, and it's heavy on their arts. They're like super fucking prideful in it. So easily be there too. And again, San Antonio is known for its river walks. And this is actually that's another thing. This is actually relatively close to downtown because 19th Street. That's indicative of where it is. Unless there's like a big river nearby and the river is the thing that separates the town streetwise. That's really tough. Yeah, see, because this is so close to downtown, I haven't really seen any signs of any truly big buildings anywhere. No matter what way I've looked, the biggest building is literally the Padre Hotel. So, as far as I can see, if that's your biggest building, and everywhere else you look, you don't really see much, I'm willing to bet you that this is actually Southern California. Because I can't imagine it being a smaller town outside of these two. So I am actually considering second guessing myself and be like, no, this has definitely got to be Southern California somewhere. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that. It also looks a lot hotter over this way, but then again, you have all that smog, which means you're heading towards. Oh yeah, there's a bigger building. You're heading towards a much bigger, more heavily trafficked and lived in region. So actually, I guess this would probably be towards downtown, I would imagine. What the heck? That was interesting. I don't know what the heck happened there. It's a bit bugged, I guess. The Fox Theater. Ah, Bonamassa, huh? Well, yeah, no, that kind of suggests it's definitely Southern California, because the main historic Fox Theater that people always talk about is traditionally the one in SoCal. The problem is I don't know where the hell in SoCal that is. And it's a freaking sprawling metropolis of hell and of just absolute... God. I don't know. I don't think it is legitimately Los Angeles. It could be because Los Angeles itself sprawls. It spreads its legs a lot and is very liberal with its sharing of its floats. As you can tell, I have severe issues. You can tell already. Anyway, yeah. Where the hell is the Fox Theater? I know Torrance has some really well-known theater, but I don't think it's Torrance. I know Inglewood has one too. I don't think it's Anaheim, but it could be there too. I really don't think it is though. I mean, maybe. I'm trying to think. Yeah, you get further and further towards San Bernardino instead of Bernard. Because a lot of people think it's Bernard because of how it's spelled. It's like you're not supposed to say Bernard. It's actually Bernardino. Or Bernardino. Usually Bernardino or Bernardino, even though there's no N there. You guys got all the way out here. But I believe, if I recall correctly, Riverside has a decent amount of things too. Oh, frickin' if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the Fox Theater's like, I don't think it is officially LA or near the hills or in these places, in Glendale or anything like that. I have a feeling it actually is probably the Torrance Inglewood region. I don't know though. I don't remember. But this so looks like a Texan thing. But I gotta go with somewhere that's not quite as big, but it's relatively close to Los Angeles. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go somewhere in between, slightly closer to Torrance, but somewhere in between Torrance and Inglewood. I hope I'm not too far off. Oh, it's Bakersfield. Okay, so the Box Theater, the Box Theater, the Fox Theater's in Bakersfield. See, I'm actually glad I actually went with that. I was like, hang on. I just had that moment of realization, like, why would I know anything about that specifically? Because there's not really much media coverage or movies or anything that take place there that I would, or shows that I would, or people I know of even that live there that I would actually really know anything about. So it's Bakersfield. Got you. So the Nile Theater's there too. I didn't know that. Immediately, that screams Baptist or Methodist. That's Seventh-day Adventist. Oh, in the same grain though. Hearth. We're in a suburb. That's epic. I'm happy about that, babe. Yep. Supt. What is that short for? East Garland. Are we in Texas again? And this is Garland. I just realized this is another church across from a church. I really wanted to say across from a church, even though there's two churches kitty corner to each other. Are you kidding? Church of God in Christ. Well, I'm pretty sure it's against your religion in the Bible to be inside of him. But I mean, if he's wanting that, I guess he's the one who's defying his own codes of conduct. So I mean, that'd be none of my business. Let's see. No idea which way I should go. So that's great. I'm happy about that. If it's Tejas, it's Garland. Which is automatically self-explanatory. Garland is in Garland. I don't know why they blurred this out. I don't think that's like an address or something like that. So, or says a city name. I don't know. It's interesting. That looks like it could say Baptist. Gotta have your Baptists if you're in a Protestant neighborhood, my friend. All the way to live your life. I like how the contrast. Well, I don't really like the contrast between all the homes here. You're a typical middle class, single family home, probably manufactured. Then you have this one, which is definitely manufactured, but probably not really lived in. It's not taken care of really well, nor is the property. It could be worse. You have, more middle class. Somewhere in between this one and the middle class homes right there. That's upper middle class. And then you just have this thing. This is like lower upper class. And it's just like, okay. Flaunt it, why don't you? Try to gentrify the neighborhood because you don't like the peasants that are lower on this. Lower hanging fruit than you. Makurita. So, you don't say. You are probably the Tejas. Very interesting. Yes, East Garland. Big difference, though. Nothing so far has had any Texas branding, which would be brand spanking new so far, if they do indeed have me in Texas. Although now I think about it, this has got to be Texas. It's flat, again, well, relatively speaking, because that's definitely downhill ways. But it's relatively flat. Same kind of trees, same kind of strata. Churches, heavy Spanish. The roads are about as shitty condition as most places. They look about the same. I'm definitely thinking this is legitimately probably Garland, Texas. I definitely think this is Tejas. This has got to be Tejas. Is that really a retired cruiser? Huh. Interesting. Well, even if you get really close, they intentionally make it so that you can't get at an angle that makes it even looking through a blur. That would be close enough, which sucks. There's another thing that you look like could be, or looks like you look like could be a English is hard, man. When you don't have a brain. Presbyterian, maybe? With that dome? There's another one that's coming to mind, but I don't really... No, that's a Baptist. I'm willing to bet you, though, that was not originally a Baptist. Almost every church I see like that around here, anywhere in the Northwest, is almost always a Presbyterian church. That or Pentecostal. There's always something about this dome thing. It's like hexagonal type dome. Interesting. Mount Moriah Baptist Church. Hallelujah. Let's see. I always say Bab and not Bap, by the way. Then again, I've only ever heard people say Bab and not Bap, including Baptists. They always say Bap. I'm a Baptist. Bab. I got baptized. Even though it's baptized. Bap! I render you unconscious. Brap. Let's see. By Gold's rule, I render you unconscious. Bap! Dies. Smack him with a rock on top of there. What? They went under the water, they're baptized. Just because they also bapped them on the head with a rock doesn't make me a criminal. Where's your head at? So I probably should do that again. Not that it really matters. Get a blinking lights. You have a bulldozer over here. Actually, no, that's a front loader, isn't it? I believe that's a front loader. Yeah, that's definitely a front loader. It's not a bulldozer I'm thinking of. What is the thing that does the grading? It's like a bulldozer, but not quite. It's a lot longer. A lot of times it's articulated, but has the same general kind of thing as like a bulldozer has in the front. What the hell are those things called again? I don't remember. It's like I always want to call what they decided to rebrand as an excavator as a steam shovel. I still want to call it a steam shovel. Everybody always called it a steam shovel, even when I was growing up. And then I'd say it's like around 2010 is when this like massive wave across the nation was like, it's an excavator, not a steam shovel. They haven't used steam in a long time. Like, good for you. Does that matter? Apparently, yes, it does. For some reason. Now it's occurring as very plainsy. Yeah, I'm not getting much of a Texas vibe once I get out here. I'm getting much more plains. And again, the street signs are much more like we'd have around here. Not at all typical Texas. But there is a hell of a lot of churches. Like, everywhere I go, there's just another freaking church. Or at least something that used to be a church. I could have an empty plot of land. Hopefully they don't develop that. They probably do. They probably will, brother. Alright, they're still on 305, which freaking sucks, boy. It sucks, ducks. Alright, is there anything at all? Out here, Hebron. Christian Academy. Yay! No cardboard. Oh, I know where it is. No cardboard. Yay. You're rude. It looks like it says 972 is the area code. I assume that's it. I have no idea. 901 is his address number. Probably should have paid more attention to the street signs, which I just realized I can still do that. Derry and Susan. I don't know why that occurs as kind of comedic to me, that combination of names. I also looks like why can't I speak? I can never speak. It's either 9 or 72, 9 or 7. Oh my god. 972 or 872. That's where the came from, was or. I'm even running over the top of myself. My brain's running like twice as fast as I can speak. Ha, 972. Well, that's the thing. I don't really know area codes that well. So there's that. There's also a lot hillier than you'd expect. Yeah, you know what? A lot of these look like oaks and sycamores. So I bet you this is actually a properly more plains. Did I ask your opinion, Siren? Did I ask your opinion? No, please, take your time. They'll be fine. Just go 4 miles an hour. As usual. Oh, but... Well, we're getting further and further from where we actually were, which is kind of awkward. Ow, I just crushed my toes under my foot. You know, the mark of an intelligent individual. Why are we traveling? Thank you. I was going to say, why are we traveling through telephone poles? Power poles and all that. Metro PCS. Not like everybody doesn't have it. Wayne's? It looks like it says Wayne's Bag Store. And then beer and wine. Pretty sure it's not bag store, but it might be. SH66. Dairy. Avenue. Valentino's Cuts. Wayne's Big Store Beer and Wine. I gotcha. In other words, they're a big box store for beers and wines. It's also apparently a breakfast and deli. Well, that's a doozy. That's a combo. That's a combo wombo. Eden Beauty Supply. Hot damn. Hot digger doog. I do be snoog. Well, it's not really a big box store. It's actually only probably... I might go all the way to the wall, but it doesn't look like it. I think actually... The wall probably goes in here. And I don't know why I'm talking about this. This is completely irrelevant, but it probably goes down through there. Is what I imagine. Draconovich. It's another state that has a primarily, if not strictly white license plate. I've looked at that one recently, and I think I found out it was Michigan and not Tejas. I'm not sure. But it's not advertising something like that. And again, it looks far more plain. It's not to say it couldn't be around like Amarillo or something. Amarillo. Amarillo, Tejas. Osa. Oh, well, that's nice. Thanks. I appreciate this. I love me a good broken down, unmaintained curb. And sorry, excuse for a sidewalk. Thank you. I do appreciate it. That's another freaking church. Oh, it's right here. Well, that's an awkward way to get there, but Another one. This one actually is Pentecostal, I bet you. It looks like that's the only thing you can say it is, although I've said that a lot of times doing this. Yep, Pentecostal. Or they're calling themselves just Pentecost now. We are not Pentecostal, we are Pentecost. We cost a penta. Yeah, I need to hang myself or something. That's such a horrible excuse for humor. For some reason I actually laugh at it, which is even worse. Wow. You don't realize how zoomed in you are until you get to an intersection. East Avenue B. Wait, is this just going... Oh, that the intersection turns into a one-way both ways, doesn't it? That's an odd concept. Huh. Yeah, I gotta say this is definitely Plains. Somewhere in the Plains. Like I said, it still could be like somewhere like Amarillo, but I'm not entirely sure. I don't really feel like it's Tejas anymore. I strongly doubt it's Garland. Even though, you know, East Garland was a church we were right next to. Wouldn't have been the first time, though, if it turned out it was actually Garland. That they blurred the wrong thing. First Street? First Street, next signal. So, quote-unquote downtown. Which is... odd. Monte Carlo? Monte Carlo! Esplendid. Esplendid. Wait, is that a dome? That's a dome. Hello, dome. How you doing? My dome is empty. How about yours? Auto. Nice. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, back on the street. Let's stop tomfooling around. Try to learn how to speak words for once in my life. Hopkins, John Avenue. Garland again. So actually, this still is Garland. I have no idea how many Garlands there are in the nation. There's probably a lot, but I only know of one Garland, and it isn't Tejas. But then I believe Garland Tejas is in the Dallas-Fort Worth area again. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's near. Isn't it on the east side again, where like all the other ones are? Richardson, Frisco, all that stuff. God damn it. I'm really skeptical, and I'm not really comfortable trying to say yes. This is Garland, Texas. Let's find out it's Garland, South Africa, or something, because South Africa is definitely in the United States. I guess we're gonna go to Garland. Actually, no, Garland's around Houston, isn't it? Wait, which one is it? No, you are here. This is why I try not to second guess myself, because I always end up wrong. I almost jumped to Houston, and I would have regretted it, because as soon as I took the next scroll off my mouse wheel, Garland, Texas. I don't think this is around Garland. I really don't. I'm super nervous to do this, but I'm not even gonna take the time to zoom further in like I normally do. I'm just gonna click down. And then we're gonna get this beautiful thing. Self-pushy advertisements like, buy! Damn it, buy! And then I can be like, that's copyright infringement right there. It was Garland, Texas. Congratulations. You suck. Oh wait, nope, that's me. It's interesting though. What was the last one I got that was like pretty much next door? Was it Frisco? It was somewhere around there. It looked totally different. The only thing that I was mentioning in the first part is there was Spanish pretty heavily. There's a lot of churches. It was relatively flat. And the roads were unmaintained heavily. And so I was like, that's the mark of Texas. But also all over the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it seems like every other town, especially in that, northeastern region, has heavy Texas branding. But then that one didn't? It's kind of interesting. I also didn't see any water towers, so, I mean, let's be fair. Is that even Texas anymore? I'd say not. They're just a lie. Let's see. I don't know why, but I'm just, the first impression is like, what the hell am I looking at? What am I looking for? I don't know. This could be pretty much anywhere. That's the beauty of the challenge of this one. As soon as they place you here, it's like, this is anywhere USA. I don't know which way to head. I want to head this way for some reason. I feel possessively like I gotta head this way, but I can't really do that. Also, that curb's been recently redone, but the street hasn't been. That's also bizarre. Huh. Okay. That could definitely be northwest at that point just because of that. Also, I think these are either the ornamental red plums or the sweet gums, which would also suggest it still could easily be northwest. Because they have an obsession of planting Norway maples, sweet gums, ginkgo biloba for a very short period, and then what was the other one? The ornamental red plums that you see all over the place a lot of the time. And they do like to do this with fields because there'll always be that one holdout person that's like, I'm not selling my land for development. I'm just not doing it. A lot of the residents are like, yeah, we don't want to do that. But we don't want to develop it. We actually have a big honking chunk of land that's just like this. Just heavy in development around it. That's literally just up the street from me. That's been there for as long as I have been living. And they've been trying as long as I've been living to develop it, and nobody's really doing it. It rained. I'm kidding. It didn't really. Well, actually, no. It does definitely look like it probably rained fairly recently. There is actually dampness of the dirt now that I think about it. And in fact, yeah, the ditch has drainage ditch has water in it too. I don't think it's just because they were clearing something out, but there's a lot of pride going on in this memorial. Like almost everybody's grave was visited, which doesn't feel all that northwesty. Thus, if it is northwest, it could be Washington. And Washington's, now that I think about it, with the blur, it could look plain white. And the text could occur as black, even though it's actually light blue. If it's the typical traditional Washington license plate, and then what it has written in Washington, it's one of the smaller texts of all the states, and it just says it in red, but it's a faint red. Like a dilly bar red. I don't know why, it's just the first example that comes to mind, analogy is, oh, it's a dilly bar red. I haven't seen a dilly bar in years. Probably over a decade now I think about it. Made it a bit heavier, like we gotta make it look more like a giant medication. I don't know why I said that either. There's a good amount of open fields around here. I think I'm actually heading the opposite way I probably should, though. Because I don't think I'm heading closer to a downtown. It's supposed to be 150 plus residents for each of these towns and cities. So, if there's 150 plus, it's not... I did it again. 150,000 plus residents in each of these cities and towns. That sounds more likely now, doesn't it? Who would have thought? But I don't know. There's like screams like, "Hey, look, this looks like Bethany, just expanded." Well, not Bethany. I don't know what the heck they consider that area. I guess it's just a part of North Beaverton, but it's just kind of interesting. Near Bethany Boulevard and Cornell and all that. 26. Sunset Highway. Ah. Nobody calls Highway 26 Sunset anymore for some reason. That's a good question. I wonder why people stop calling it that. Probably because there's enough Southern Californians that moved up here. They're like, we only want to hear people say Sunset when they're talking about Sunset Boulevard. Thank you. You're thinking, stuff it. Get confused, bitch. I'm always, whenever I see a ditch that's this filled, I'm like, I'm really tempted to just go cast my line out there and see if I can catch some random fish out of it. That'd be really sick. That'd be so cool. Is that a horsey? Yes. Rydell Ranch. Boarding, sales, and lessons. Quarter horses. Oh, hey, look, they actually chose to blur out the, or is that smeared? Oh no, it's a smaller font. That's just how old it got, how worn it got. They didn't replace or embolden the numbers here. It's 916 area code. I'm pretty sure nowhere in the Northwest has a 916. So, Bond Road. No, I could be lying. It's a mighty tiny place to have not just lessons and sales, but also boarding for horsies. I'm calling PETA, even though I hate them. Because they're so extreme. Let's see. Alexi. Is she covering her face? No, I thought she was for a minute. I thought I saw her hand on her face. I'm like, oh man, she really does not want to be seen. You know, sometimes. And you know, sometimes. Did you know, sometimes. Townhomes everywhere, as ever. That's an evergreen. Oh, I just realized how these street signs are. They're three-dimensional. Does that mean that they have lights in them? Well, that's kind of interesting. That's a decent idea. Instead of just making them reflective, you could also, or change it so that you have lights in it. You have a light-up system so they light up gently so that they don't necessarily piercingly blind you if you have the wrong kind of headlights that just look at them in the right way and just like, ah! I have a burn on my eye! Instead, they're like gently lit with like halogens. That'd be a pretty good idea, I think. Although you'd have to keep them clean at that point because it would be a different material, probably be plastic on these. Then the problem would be, if it's rainy, it's probably going to get water in it. That means it's going to get mud and algae in it. And then you have to clean the insides and the outsides. And you have to consistently replace the bulbs, which would suck. But otherwise, it sounds like a decent idea. I'm like, look, this is why you don't want to do what I'm suggesting right now. And that's why I'm suggesting you should do it. I'm that idiot. Oh my god. What is happening? We are getting towards bigger buildings, but the spread is a little sparser. Oh yeah, there's actually kind of warehouse type buildings there. Oh, there's a big old bus right there that showed up after we left. Hey, bus! And it's gone. Lovely. Thought so. How slow was this vehicle going, by the way? That's just the pickup with the ladder on it. And there's no signs of a bus visually that I can see. You actually see through there. There's nothing there either. As far as the eye can see over that little hump, you can't actually see a bus. And then you just go, yoop. Boom, it's at the intersection. What? This is just like teleport. Like, hey, I'm here now. I have been born. Powered by clean natural gas. Sounds like something that the Northwest would love to keep flaunting. Or really the West Coast, I guess. It does look Northwesty, though. Like, the amount of evergreens and just the way the roads are laid out, these kind of culverts are done. Culvert bridges. You have the houses, the strata, It looks like an area that they're trying to gentrify and trying to develop. But they keep meeting opposition, and people are just holding out and like, no, I'm not doing it. Cambria at Fieldstone. I feel like I've heard that and seen that before too. Cambria, Fieldstone. Well, at least Cambria. It does kind of occur like North Hillsborough area-ish. Even though it might not be at all. I don't think it is. Yeah, like, look at... This is Northwesty too. They spray paint their instructions for themselves of where each of the lines, water lines, power lines, and stuff are under the ground, which most of our water, power, and gas lines in the Northwest are actually underground, even though you have this right here. This way, no, you still have it too. A lot of power lines. Just realized, holy crap. Not that we don't have areas like that, because we definitely do. But this is very Northwesty too, because they do that, and then you can tell they redid the sidewalk more recently than they did the road. Like, resurfacing that. And same with this. Which they always do things at like these most separate and bizarrest of times. It's like, why not do it all at once? And they're like, well, it would be great and efficient to kill two birds with one stone, and that's why we refuse to do it. Because it makes sense. Make sense? Great. We won't talk about it anymore. It's like, yay! You guys suck. Also, you can tell it's a different day because of the amount of water. In fact, you can tell how wet that is. It looked like it even breached the sand to about there. Yeah. That definitely could be north. That's another northwesty type of thing.
Walterman Square Apartments. Walterman, or no, Waterman. Whoops. Waterman Road. Waterman Road. Apply directly to the forehead.
Yeah, see, it just changed time of year. Now it's hot. You can actually see the heat. And how it's like this, it's legitimately a hot day. Oh yeah. It's so easy to tell what the temperature was, if it was hot or cold, and also how humid it was. Like this is a humid heat. There's a decent amount of humidity there. It's probably about 40% humidity, it looks like. Probably the 80s. That's exactly, oh my god, yeah. I'm actually getting hot just looking at this. Are those mountains? I can't tell if those are clouds or mountains. I think they're like steam fog clouds. I'm not sure. Look at how imbalanced this field is. How it floods easily with rain. That's kind of northwesty too. The flat parts of like Oregon, example, are never actually flat. They have a constant variation in heights. Always uneven surfaces. Yeah, I think those are rising clouds. I think is what's happening. It's the fog rising. I don't think it's mountains. It still could be mountains, but I doubt it is. And also, what's with all these breaks between development? There's actually way more than even I'm used to seeing. And notice how this development, all of this development is not connected to this, and it's not connected to that. It's just entirely disconnected. Like, what kind of logic is that? That annoys me so deeply, especially, I did it again. As a transit enthusiast, it's like, what are people doing? It's so annoying. Actually, I think those are mountains. Okay, those are mountains. They're not distinctive, which means they're definitely not northwest. We have very distinct looking mountains, even from a distance. So that kind of discounts Central Oregon. Or Central Washington, for that matter. Well, it might not discount Central Washington, but it definitely discounts Central Oregon. Oh, and there's palm trees right there. What the fuck? Wait a second. Palm trees? Excuse you? I was going to say Colorado, is what I was going to conclude at that point. But there's palm trees. There's palmskis. There's palmski doodles. There's the bruskies, the palmskis. From a tropical environment put into an environment that, again, is not freaking meant to live in. Oh yeah, and those are suddenly a lot more southerly looking homes. Those have a very deep south looking feel. Look and feel and style to them. But there's mountains. And those don't look like the Catskills, Adirondacks, Appalachia, whatever the hell you want to call it, but it might be. It still could be clouds too, like that's the thing. And then these are rising clouds here, much closer than these things, which look easily like they could be both, either clouds, different kinds of clouds, or they could be mountains. So this is actually kind of tricky. I'm heading further and further away from where it was too. And neither way looked like it would take me to downtown, which is helpful. I do love that. If this does turn out to be Colorado, though, because there's only 2 palm trees I see, which is weird. I would assume a homeowner planted those at some point. We got cows. Put a tornado here. Boom. Twister. We have cows. Those are the same kind of like evergreens you'd expect to see in developments as well around here. The things we wrongfully call like sequoias. Which are not sequoias, I can't remember what they are. Exactly. God, that is tough to tell if those are mountains or behind those clouds or not. They look like it, but they don't. I don't know. And if it is California, then it's got to be near the Sierras. Within view of it. It definitely doesn't look like it's the east side. I know it can't be the east side.
of the Sierras. That's just not gonna happen. It's not. There's not. No way you're gonna ever find this east of the Sierras. Although now it makes me question it because it gets here. It's like, ah, yeah. See, now I don't see any signs of mountains, and there's a heavy amount of smog. I do see a shadow right there. It's kind of gradual, like hills. So they still could be there. You still see the gradual slopes like that too. But that still could be clouds. It looks even more so like clouds now. That's annoying. It also looks way older than this year, but just it depends on which. Yeah, 55 miles an hour on this kind of a road. Never gonna happen in Oregon. People have been fighting to raise speed limits on the interstate for like at least a decade straight now, and they just have never really made progress with that. So, but yeah, you have like Sitka spruces and stuff. Deodar cedars. There's definitely Doug firs. I'm pretty sure these are probably ginkgos. They kind of look like it. That's a sweet gum. Again, very northwesty. Crap. If this is such development, I mean, it's not as much as you think it is, but it's a decent amount of development. I'm wondering if this could be around Renton or Auburn in Washington. It could be. And again, for the sake of time, because I'm taking so long on this now as well. I just feel like, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna make much progress towards, higher density civilization to me, like, which makes it a bigger pain in the ass too. It also kind of feels again a little like Colorado, but I don't see any aspens or ashes or anything like that, so it kind of gets negated. It looks northwesty enough. I kind of feel like it could be east of the Cascades in Washington too. But then this is looking north now that I think about it, right? This is either looking south or north. It's looking north. This one's looking south. This will be looking east. Well, that doesn't make sense, does it? Anyway, this is looking west. I know that this is west because I always wanted to say that this is east. If I head this way, I always think I'm heading east. Head this way, I always think it's west. So that means that that's east and this is this is west and this is east, because I keep persistently finding that out. But it's always the opposite of what I think it is. These directions, though, then get confusing for me because I'm also dyslexic. So there is another palm tree right there. So the palm trees kind of throw me off too. And I'm pretty sure there are various places in Colorado that do have the cities decided to plant some palm trees around. Which, again, why, I don't know. Is there a dust bowl down there? Kind of looks like there might be. But that was completely off topic. Speaking of attention deficit. Yeah. Oh, actually, you know what? Looking at the smog. Yeah, looking at the smog, I'd say that actually if I continued this way, I would be heading towards downtown, especially this direction, because the smog is kind of heaviest this way. And it gets lighter and lighter until there's not as much, remotely as much smog here. Like, this is the clearest out of every direction I look. And then you can see it pick up again, including in the sky over the sun. There's a lot of smog here. You can tell which way the wind's blowing that day. It's either blowing this way or this way. Because of that smog. You can see the smog trail. There's a good amount of smog coming from over here, too. And you can tell because it's also darker. It's kind of more gray. But, yeah. But then you get the more tan, gray, and oranges. And this is more likely to be... You can tell it's smog. Especially as it dissipates like that. That's not high clouds. That's smog. So there are high clouds in it. You can see that. But that's definitely smog. So this looks like the main source of the smog. Which means that this is closest to the heaviest amount of civilization. So if I continued this way, though it looks like it's going to take a long time to get to anywhere that actually shows that semblance of it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak for Washington, especially as of late, the last like 8 years, if their cities or states started planting palm trees every so often. I know I haven't done that in Oregon, and I'm very, very, very freaking happy about that. Because, again, I can't speak English for some reason. But, yeah, I don't know. I have no fucking idea where the hell I am. Everything screams kind of northwesty. It has the right trees and everything. Except there's an occasional palm tree. And it kind of occurs a little more on the plain side. So I don't... It doesn't look like anywhere in California either. Not even Northern California to me. Not even in the valleys. It's not to say it isn't there, which that would explain the palm trees. And I'm confident it can't be in my brain would work. In Nevada. It probably isn't in Utah. I guess it could potentially be in Idaho, which means this would be the... Actually, yeah, their development does make sense. There's a lot of stuff around, especially the further east you go, with these kind of big breaks. So actually, this might be Boise area. I guess I'll take a shot at it. I don't know where else it would be. It has to be in the U.S. I don't know. This is very interesting. It could be just about anywhere. Except if it is in the Northwest, it's pretty much on there. Let's see, 150 plus. It could be Spokane area, which I doubt. Could be Spokane area. It can't be Yakima because Yakima's not remotely big enough, nor the Tri-Cities area. If it is in the Seattle area, I could see it being Auburn, Renton region. It kind of has a layout like that, but I don't think it is. It's definitely not anywhere in the Portland area. There's just no palm trees around, unless you're at like a McDonald's, and they always plant their California specialty of architecture, paint job, and their stupid palm trees that always have to be wrapped in the fall and winter so they don't freeze and die. Idiots. Yeah, it either is Spokane area, which it definitely could be, or, and yeah, there's nothing big enough outside of Portland, Salem, or Eugene. There's nowhere remotely big enough in Oregon for that either. So, Spokane area, if I remember correctly, actually, yeah. If I remember correctly, Spokane itself has 220-something thousand people in it currently, at least as of last estimate. Spokane Valley had like 100 and... It was pretty close to the same size, actually. It wasn't quite the same size. But I think it had like 125 or something people. It was a lot. But a lot more than I ever would have figured. But it's definitely could be Spokane. I don't think it is, though. I'm still going to go with, especially for the sake of time as well, I'm going to go with Boise, Idaho area. It could also be Napa. Like, the mountains get real close to Boise, and if there was any mountains back there, which I'm not sure there was. This is actually legitimately very tough. I'm going to go with Boise, not even Napa, because it's not big enough anyway. I'm going to go with Boise, and I'm going to go with probably Boise, whatever. We go with, like, out... It doesn't feel like it's anywhere near an interstate either, so it could be, like... Here, maybe out here, maybe out here. Did I ask your opinion? No. Okay, stop honking. I'm gonna go with like here. Let's see how bad that was. 400. It was Sacramento area. Really, it was California. That kind of bullshit. Well, it does explain the palm trees, the palm ski doodles. So, god damn it, man. There's just so much there that screamed to me, no, it can't be there. But it was, because it's racist. I don't know what the hell anymore. Alright. Let's go around. been refaced recently, but it's not actually that recently built of a building, but it definitely is newer. That's for shizzle. Wonder. It's a very nice looking building. Like I like the fake wood facade on it. It actually kind of looks really nice, which is bizarre because of how big it is. That's what she said. It's that like fake vinyl flooring facade makes it sound even worse looking. I probably should have paid attention to the signs. Actually makes it look pretty nice. Midtown is happening now. Midtown Crossing. My Midtown spot. That's how you know things are getting gentrified like hell. It's like, my Midtown, hashtag my Midtown, all that good stuff. And then you know you're probably getting shafted because everything's going to get super fucking expensive, and as always, cost of living's going to stay at least 2 times higher than your average income, and therefore you just can't afford what the fuck you're living in. This, I don't know, it just gives me immediately like some big Plains University area vibes. It is going to look like a university area too, doesn't it? Cinema! That's Plains. I can't count how many times I'm like, this is Plains, and it's Texas. Like, or Florida. And it's like, my bad, man. Shiza. I like that mural decently. I'm definitely 100% confident this isn't Northeast, and this is definitely Plains, though. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I 100% sincerely am dedicated to that. This has got to be Plains. If it's not, well, then, you know, that's what I get for not taking my time with it. But this, especially this, looking down this road, like, look at that. That screams that screams the Plains. It screams center, contiguous U.S. Especially around, you know, the, like a big college campus area. And of course, people might be screaming like, "Oh, Mutual Omaha! It's Omaha!" Not necessarily, just because it says Mutual Omaha. There's a lot of places that have big Mutual Omaha buildings. I'm just saying. So don't be like that, and it's not that big either. And that's also what she said, and that's why I'm still single. No, okay. So this is towards downtown, though, because... But yeah, I gotta remember. This is heading east because I want to say it's heading west. So, this is heading east. If this is Omaha, it would make sense because we'd be heading towards downtown from here going east with that big old building. There is a fairly memorable building in downtown Omaha though that I would think I would recognize. But the problem is I don't really remember it off the top of my head right now, so that's always great. Also, I'm not sure how gentrified that would be. A part of me feels more like it'd be Des Moines, as what we're in, is Des Moines. Des Moines, Iowa. The most boring state in the Union. Here's your choice of hobbies and careers. Farmer, harvester, truck driver, or police person. And that's it. That's Iowa in a nutshell. Or you could be a lifelong college student. I mean, it's up to you. But that's Iowa in a nutshell. Yeah. Kind of same with Oklahoma, though. So, I mean, let's consider them in a tie. In a deadlock for most boring state. Turner Boulevard, Farnham. Chevrolet Silverado. Yes, ma'am. As a logistics company, Warner Logistics. Oh, shoot. It's definitely mixed use, though. It's somewhere where they're really heavy on that kind of mixed use stuff. That a lot of people say, oh, it's neoliberal bullshit. Even though, if you think about it, most quote-unquote neoliberals are actually... Oh, that's Midtown Crossing. Oh, interesting. Is actually self-contradictory because they're actually heavily conservative, but they're like, we're a neoliberal. What? No, you're not. But you can say you are. I mean, you have that right. But you're definitely not that. Runza, I've never heard of in my life. I've never seen it before in my life. Runza. Oh yeah, this occurs to me now very much. Woodman as potentially Omaha. I think it's this building that kind of makes me feel like it's probably Omaha. Except I only see 3 big buildings. And there's more than that in their skyline clustered together. Oh, there's 4 actually. But yeah, I don't know. It still can be Omaha. Omaha, Nebraska. A yellow one. Well, Oregon has a pure yellow one too, so that doesn't say anything. Romeo's Mexican food and pizza. 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 Would you like a piece of pizza from pizza? Well, whatever the state is, it has a hell of a lot of different license plates. Now, yellow would say, that's it. I think yellow with black on the black bar on the top is Michigan. That's the one that's Michigan, isn't it? Yeah, that's the main Michigan license plate. And Texas, I think, is actually the straight jet, just white with black on it, black lettering. That, I think, is actually from a dealership, though. That does not look like it's the actual license plate. That looks like one of the dealership things. Paper dealership ones. But as far as I can tell, there's at least 3 different types of license plates I've already seen. Also, I feel like I've already seen that Silverado before. But I think it's just coincidental. Wait. How are we heading this way, but the traffic is actually consistently moving backwards with us when we're going this way? Am I looking for the rear view? Oh, I guess I have to be. That explains. Okay, I get it now. Because this is the rear view of the truck that they're using. I got you. I don't know though. Why is there so many cell phone / radio towers in town, like in the middle of town, in the middle of a street, our radio tower, dude. Like, look at that thing. What? Why? What the hell is this? They're tiny. They're really fucking short though. There's another one I just realized back there. I missed. Huh. Like these, I think, are cell towers. They look like cell towers, the same kind of antenna and same kind of thing like that. And they always come up almost like a oil derrick type of tower. In that way. Wait. What the hell? Where did you come from? It was behind the building we were placed in front of. Oh, that's a mutual. Oh, no, that's the other part of the Mutual of Omaha thing. I mean, I know they're up on a hill, so they look a lot bigger than they are, but they do look really a lot bigger than I thought they were. There's also a big old, what looks to be potentially an Orthodox or Catholic or Mormon church / tabernacle, if it's Mormon over there. But, what are the big giant main places called again for Mormons in each region? I can't, like each region city they have these gigantic campuses. I can't remember what the heck they're called. Those aren't the tabernacle, because I think the tabernacle only has one location. It's their headquarters in Salt Lake City. But yeah. And this is very Gothic. It's probably, at least this one, I don't know if it's connected. If it is, these are 2 different buildings that were later connected together. And this also was an addition, you can tell, later on, after this main one was built. But this looks very Lutheran to me. It just has a Lutheran feel, although this kind of does too. But especially this has a Lutheran feel. So, but I'm not sure. Again, in my experience, that looks like a typical Lutheran church, including the shape. It's kind of oval, like an aerodrome or something. 402 is the area code. Again, I'm bad with area codes. I just realized there was a sign, green signs. Hello, are you a museum? Is that what this is? A museum now. Oh wow, that's a picture bigger than I thought it was. Damn, boy, you biggin'. I do love this architecture. It's super cool. It has what I consider like a medieval type of feel, even though it's not. It's actually Gothic, so it's like a way later. It's like 2 times later in time that Gothic came up, but you can tell they were influenced by that. I have no idea where I am, but I it's either Des Moines or Omaha. I still sincerely believe that. And I think, I want to, it doesn't look like I see anything that could be Cedar Rapids back there, but there's a lot of trees. God damn it. I don't want to keep going forever. And ever, and ever, and ever! Wait, now the traffic is passing us. What the hell? I blame you, Woodman. You're a dick. Save me, Superboy. No. You're a dick. CenturyLink. Oh, well. Yep, probably Midwest. I know that, I don't... Does Berkshire Hathaway own, like, an entire one of the big buildings in downtown Omaha? Because I know they're based there. So a lot of the Berkshire Hathaway Holdings companies are based there, like BNSF. But I don't remember. I never looked that information up. But now we're officially in downtown. I think we always were in downtown, though, to be fair. Like, that still felt like downtown, although now you can barely see any of the buildings. In fact, you can't even see that really tall-looking building that was there before. Because I guess it's a bigger hill than it seems like. Also, this is an inexcusably immense parking garage. And it looks like they're building probably another one over here, although there's windows, but... I've seen parking garages modern day being built with windows in place for some reason. Probably their excuse is, well, to prevent suicide. That's an excuse. I'm sorry. We all know that is. That's the truth. Mills Dargo. It's Minneapolis, I think, that Mills Dargo is based in, not Omaha. There is a bank that's based in Omaha, and no, it's not. Well, I mean, I think Mutual Omaha is actually based in, well, Omaha, but there's actually a bigger bank, I think, that's based there, if I remember correctly, as well. That seems too small now. Where the fuck am I? Also, oh no, actually, you know what? Because of those tree lines, I bet there is a river down there. So Cedar Rapids easily could be on the other side of that. If I do end up down in a river. I wonder. I do wonder. That's a courthouse. It's an older courthouse, but it is the courthouse nonetheless. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Where the flip? You know what? I'm just gonna go for it at this point, even though I really want to see if I can reach the river, which I think it's getting closer. I don't. Let's see, actually. Am I getting close to a river? Because if I am, I bet you that is Cedar Rapids is on the other side of that, and this is Omaha. Even though it doesn't look like it has quite enough of a skyline, now that I think about it. Wow, people are really honking tonight. Has this just not been a good day for people today or something? Jeez. Jeebus Priebus. Oh wait, this is a river down here, isn't it? Or is it a highway? No, it's probably a highway. Right? Well, it does say riverfront revitalization. Mecca, Omaha. Well, I did just confirm it to my... Oh, yeah, Omaha Visitor Center. I did confirm it to myself. So, see, I was heading this way because I'm like, I bet you there's a river. And if I cross that river, obviously I'm going to end up in Cedar Rapids. I was trying to see if I saw Cedar Rapids. But I am confident this is a freeway under here. And not the river. In fact, now that I think about it, there's a building right there. So, yes, of course it's a freaking freeway. They do have a Busbahnhof system, it seems. So yeah, well now we know there is the river is just over here, and Cedar Rapids is across the way. Well, gosh darn it. Could have saved us about 5 extra minutes of time. Actually, I could have saved us a lot more time than that, like 15 minutes of lollygagging, because I kind of was right. Council Bluffs, not Cedar Rapids. Right, Cedar Rapids is Iowa, not all the. I mean, Council Bluffs is Iowa too. I was like, it's an Oregon Trail name, and is Cedar Rapids an Oregon Trail? No, I don't think it is. Yeah, that's why. Council Bluffs was a big town that, at least for me, was memorable in all the Oregon Trail games for some reason. I don't know why. Midtown Crossing, Midtown Crossing was where we supposedly were. I'm gonna go like right there. 135.3 yards. Thirst Tea Cafe. Wah, 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 wah. Omaha Outlaws. United Omaha Life Insurance Company, Mutual Omaha Insurance. Interesting. I was gonna say, did we really go by a park? I guess maybe we did. I was looking the other way. I was looking this way, I think, when I... Yeah, I was, because that's like the Lutheran church area, I think. Well, my bad. Didn't mean to do that. And as I said, there's a freeway. Yes, ma'am. Although, how far did I get down here, by the way? That's a good question. Oh, you know, maybe it was a park. Maybe it wasn't a freeway. Maybe it was a park that was under where I was, right? Well, let's see. Where was it? That was a really... Was it the tallest, biggest? No, I think I was a few blocks from that. That's that one. It's actually hard to tell where that big rectangular tallest building was. It might be the Union Pacific Center. Wait, U of P's there too? I want to look that up. I've done so much better, by the way, than what I've done here. Many a times before. Oh, I didn't exit full screen. Crap. I think it's literally just its own... Yeah, it literally is just straight up F11 mode is what it is. Also different way. But since we finished the game, I'm actually going to look that up. U of P. Union Pacifico. I know. Yeah, it is based in Omaha. Abraham Lincoln? Wait, you serious? The hell? I assume it was originally a nationalized railroad. If it was also started by him while he was in D.C. Well, that's awkward. Yeah, Union Pacific Corporation. Interesting. So not only is BNSF and them direct, like the two biggest competitors in the entire nation for rail service, rail cargo transport, but they're both based in Omaha. Oh no, they actually moved the headquarters to Fort Worth. It is still owned by Berkshire, though. Huh. That's very interesting. So they moved it... That had to have been the last couple of years they must have moved it. I know they were restructuring a lot of things, including Berkshire itself. So actually that might have been why they did that. In the middle of the reorganization, they probably did that. They probably transferred it to Fort Worth. Interesting. Very interesting and neat. But yeah, and then you get, of course, Omaha, Nebraska, because Warren Buffett also lives. I believe he was actually born and raised also in Omaha, so he's one of the few people that actually stick to where they were born and raised, for the most part. Like, I'm gonna keep my businesses here too. Which I personally would love to do the same thing. I'd love, especially considering I come from Aloha, and Aloha's a low-income neighborhood. I would love to be able to help with stuff like that, just by like being like big successful person that lives here with a big successful company that's based there, because put them on the frickin' map and do what I can to not gentrify it but grow it. It'd be huge. Also, fun fact of the day, since it's here, and I mentioned Dilly Bars, Dairy Queen is Minneapolis, Minnesota based. Well, it was. Actually, it says it's... Hang on. Last time I looked it up, it wasn't just based in Minnesota, and it wasn't in Edina. It literally was listed as being founded in Minneapolis. Now it's Joylet. Or Joylet, or whatever the hell. I don't know if you say it more Scandinavian or not. But what? This totally freaking changed. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. It's freaking Wikipedia. I guess it changes a lot sometimes. And one of them may be inaccurate. One of them may be inaccurate, I should say, because it might be this. Because that was for a few years that was based there. It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of companies that buy out other companies, and then they change things, and so it throws you off. It's like, a lot of car enthusiasts say that Subaru is totally its own company, but it's actually owned and has been for a long time, by Toyota. says Subaru Corporation, but then if you go to Subaru Corporation, then it should say Toyota, unless they let go of it. Okay, apparently that's another no, yeah, there you go. Parent organization Toyota. Never mind. For a minute, I didn't see that. I was like, okay, I guess that was another restructuring thing. We're like, okay, you're back free again. Owned by Toyota. And then there's something, is Nissan, I think, had a partnership with... They have a partnership with one of the American manufacturers. I think it's Ford? And then a lot of people are like, no, but they're owned by it. It's like, no, they're not. Yeah. But, let's see. Yeah, see, Nissan's still its own thing. But there's a lot of car enthusiasts like, no, they're absolutely owned by, you know, whatever. And it's like, no, they're not. Mitsubishi, last I knew, also wasn't owned by anybody. But they kept having partnerships off and on with others. So, no, yeah. They're the actual alliance, the partnership between Renault, Nissan, and Mitsubishi are actually part ownership of Mitsubishi itself. Well, that's kind of interesting. Huh. I also didn't know we had Mitsubishi dealerships. That's actually quite interesting. Interesting. And then, yeah, you have all the Swedish manufacturers that got sold off to, like, either American or German manufacturers. And then they, even when they were originally owned by American, they then got sold to German manufacturers. And so now all of the Swedish-based auto manufacturers are officially said, oh, they've always been German. It's like, no, they were originally Swedish. They just ended up being sold to and or bought out by either BMW or Volkswagen. In fact, a lot of the French and Italian manufacturers are also owned by either Volkswagen or BMW. Ferrari's owned by one of these two, and then the other competitor, Lamborghini's owned by one of these two. I can't remember which one they're owned by. Audi was originally Swedish. Volvo, originally Swedish. Mercedes, originally Swedish. But, you know how it goes. And then, actually, Mercedes itself is weird because of how they sold and restructured when they sold. Because Daimler owns, or Daimler, however you want to call it, owns the truck and cargo vehicle divisions and the engine productions lines of all that. I believe they own Mercedes vans as well. But the actual cars themselves are owned by, I think, Volkswagen. Which is interesting. So, like, they just completely split all of it up between two different companies. And then whatever the, like, logistics part of Mercedes, I think, kind of stayed as its own, if I recall correctly. I don't remember entirely. Just very odd. So, yeah, Mercedes-Benz was originally... they're actually saying the entire company is owned by Daimler, which might have happened later. I don't know. It's like, it's amazing what can happen in like a year or 2 years' time with all of this stuff automobile-wise. Just how quickly everything shifts hands and changes in ownership, and it's weird. Volkswagen, and of course, BMW is München-based. It's I had saying Bohemia, and technically correct, also technically incorrect. Oh, fuck. Bavaria. That's it. It's Bavarian. That's what the B actually stands for. Or at least originally it did. Bavarian Motorworks is what it originally was founded as. But it calls in Deutsch. Yeah. I think that's literally just in German. Bavarian Motorworks. Yeah. The last stream I spent like eternity looking for, where's München? And then I looked it up afterward. I'm like, oh, I'm an idiot. Fuck. Because München was, of course, Munich. That's what it turned out to be. I was like, grr! But it's half Google's fault because they used to, on both Google Earth and Maps, literally list it as München. So it is half their fault because they decided to go with the anglicized edition of the name and call it Munich. Although I think that's kind of like with the Czech Republic deciding we're officially now Czechia, casually, to the casual person internationally. We officially we really want everybody to call us Czechia and not the Czech Republic because they decided to make Czech Republic informal except in legality, then it's officially what they're called. But otherwise, they always want to be called Czechia, and it's just kind of interesting to me that I think that's what happened also in Germany with Munich. I think they decided to just anglicize and be like, let's just have everybody call us the anglicized version. We're Munich, and so we'll call ourselves and officially write our city to be Munich, even though we're actually München, which is, I don't know. I just find that stuff very interesting. It's like, it makes it confusing too. So, but yeah, so explanation for that last one is it's half Google's fault and half my own fault because my brain was swearing to God. If you remember, it was up in the northern half of the country, not the southern half. So, that's my bad. Straight up, Steve's Bavarian Repair, BMW service. Prideful people, that's for sure. You have the whole history of the Bavarian kingdom versus the feuding with the Bohemian kingdom, which technically they're the same people, and even back then, throughout their history, constantly throughout hundreds of years straight, feuding with each other, trying to take each other's lands. They've always been technically the exact same people. They're just slightly different. So it's like, you bunch of idiots. So, Bohemia and Bavaria, as much as they may not want you to say that either the Czechians, Bohemians, or southeastern Germans, the Bavarians, might not want you to believe or say, they don't even know deep down inside. They're technically always been the same people. And so it is technically correct to interchange Bohemia and Bavaria because they're not only that, but yeah, throughout history, the hundreds of years of their kingdoms feuding with each other, they kept taking over each other and each other's lands. So, like, you're going to end up being the same people whether you wanted to be or not. So, it's kind of interesting, all that stuff. And of course, me bouncing subject to subject to subject because they all correlate. But you're originally svensk, Swedish, but now you're Deutsch. How very sad. Yeah. Audi supposedly owns Lamborghini, Ducati, but it's actually Volkswagen that owns Audi, which means what Volkswagen did when they bought out all the others after they bought Audi initially, they decided, okay, let's slap Lamborghini under Audi and Ducati and da-da-da. So that they'd be the company name that would then control those brands, even though technically we control all of them because, again, corporate stuff is very bizarre. I don't understand it. It's very bizarre. It's just weird to look at all these different things and be like, why is the corporate world with automobiles this way? Why is it so confusing? Why is it so constantly buying each other out and then selling each other back off again and then restructuring and realigning who... Wow, Volvo is considered luxury now? What happened there? What the hell? Oh yeah, and that's right. Volvo, because Volvo originally, the first sellout was, I can't remember if they sold out the first time, like in the 80s, to a German manufacturer or not. But I know they sold out, like in the 90s and early 2000s for a really short time. They were owned by Ford, and then Ford got rid of them pretty quickly after they ganged them because Ford really ruined the brand and the name and the reputation of it. And then they sold it off, and then Volvo was back to being... Actually, no, I think they sold them to... Yeah, they did. They sold them to either BMW or Volkswagen, and then there was some big sale and trade-off when... Yeah, I think it was... Let's see. Renault is owned by Volkswagen. We just saw that. So I believe that means that BMW is the one who ended up with their direct French competitor in Peugeot. So, or Peugeot, sorry. That's how it's actually technically said. I hate the French language so much. Anyway, but yeah, and so Peugeot, I think, got bought out by BMW after Volkswagen bought out Renault. And so you ended up with, I think BMW owned Volkswagen. I think they're the one who got, not Volkswagen, Volvo. and they kept them for even shorter time. I think it was for a few months, and then yeah, in that whole thing where Volkswagen and BMW were buying the French manufacturers and their automotive groups, they're like, okay, basically make an agreement. What are we going to do for the sales so we can make this work? In terms of, I think it was like EU regulations kind of played a part in that. Like you have to figure out a balancing act, and so I'm pretty sure that's how Volvo ended up then being sold again to Geely, which is Chinese. Although Geely, if I remember correctly, also was not originally Chinese, so I don't know what's with that. It's just there's so much to keep track of. It's ridiculous. But you can also see how Volvo was originally Swedish or Scandinavian and not actually German, because these are Scandinavian or North Germanic names. SKF, that's not a name, but okay. Yeah, it's just kind of interesting. And then Skoda, I think, was originally Zekian. And for some reason, it's trending right now, which is kind of interesting. That's interesting. I wouldn't have expected Skoda to trend. But yeah, you had Skoda as Zekian, I believe. And now, well, no, it's still officially Zekian. But it is owned by Volkswagen. So they never, I guess they just didn't move it. Is what happened. It is cool though, like just to look at these different things and think, this is interesting. So yeah, you have Renault, and also it was either Renault, I think it was Renault, and not Peugeot or Peugeot, that was owned by General Motors for a while, up until actually fairly recently. Now that I think about it, it was either Renault or Peugeot. I can't remember which one. Just like Opel. Actually, Opel apparently, I heard GM sold them off, but actually they might not have. You know, I think it was Peugeot that they owned, and then Renault is the one that they sold Peugeot to, and Opel supposedly. Although, as I keep hearing from a lot of automobile insiders, they're like, no, actually Opel is still General Motors. And it's like, wait, what? It's interesting. Dacia was owned by Dacia, whatever. It is owned by Renault, as I like to say, because it's spelled that way. So shut up. But yeah, you have the Renault, and then Peugeot. I just can't with the French language. It's such a horrible language. They own Citroen, Opel. This is the Peugeot officially owns Opel. So Opel was sold off from what you call it, General Motors. Obviously, there's something fuzzy there, and what happened with either Renault or Peugeot in terms of General Motors. But yeah, it's just very interesting. I don't know the automobile industry is such a bizarre thing. Oh yeah, and then Chrysler was trying to merge with Peugeot. But yeah, and I can just about guarantee you, unless Peugeot is the one who's dictating and has the pants on, so to speak, the control over when they merge over Chrysler, Peugeot is going to regret every decision they ever made when it comes down to that. They're going to plummet. I mean, you can already, they're actually, now you look at it, they're actually plummeting already. They're still consistently downtrodden in terms of their stock prices. And I know a big part of that is because of the fact of the merger with Chrysler, because Chrysler is horrible. And they're doing especially badly. Like, it's ridiculous. Chrysler themselves is doing horribly. Even with as great as Jeep and Dodge have been for them, specifically Dodge with the Ram, and now recently they're expecting to do really good with the new wide-body editions of the Hellcat and the Scat Pack, Chargers and Challengers. You know, I don't think it's going to do as good as they think it is, though, with those two. But, yeah, I mean, even if that gives them a boost, Chrysler's still doing horribly. So, and Chrysler's famous for just horrible quality control. So, I mean, you know, it's the one that makes you famous where you have your car casually braked. You're just going through your day. You're going to go to your mailbox, and then you get crushed to death because the brakes are like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to check out now. I'm done. You're on your own, bud. I just decided I'm retiring for the day and for the rest of my life. I'm done. with no explanation. Like, it doesn't matter how new it was, those brakes fail. And same with the electrical system's the other problem with it. They consistently, since like 2010, have had horribly bad reputations with their electrical system, especially when it comes down to like the air conditioning and the heating, and even more so child safety with the doors, because they have all their automatic doors in their minivans and stuff, and it's just like crush, 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 or just suddenly stop. And a lot of times their electrical system, especially on the vans, would actually randomly catch fire, and you wouldn't know that they were on fire until you finally started to see the smoke, when basically your car was starting to really fuck up, malfunction, and you're like, oh, something's wrong. Because the car still worked fine. It was the door, where, you know, the door electricity and stuff like that was really having the problem. It's like, crap. They're not good quality control. And since it's been going on for about a decade straight with both of those things, and nothing's happened with that, their trust has gone way down too. But then again, American automobile makers are famously horrendous in quality in the first place. But, I mean, found on the road dead, fix or repair daily is the famous name for the Ford. It still sticks a lot of the time because there's still so many problems that people have with their Fords a lot of the time. And then you have, of course, General Motors is the rolling sarcophagi, because they literally, in that whole thing where they released it was 64, I think, different terms, phrases, and words they released as a list to their own advertising teams as words and phrases and terms you could not use when advertising their products and their cars. And one of them was literally rolling sarcophagus. Another one was coffin on wheels. In other words, it's got so bad in the quality of the vehicles they knew they were producing and giving to people. They felt the need to talk to their own employees that do the advertising and all of that to not use these terms. They were banned from using them. 64 different things. And those two were one of, you know, the two main ones that stuck, at least with me and with a lot of other people too, of like, that's really bad. And that's really sad. Like, if that's what you feel the need to do, you know you're producing shitty vehicles. You know you're producing dangerous things, and you don't care because you're not doing anything about it except trying to prevent your own employees from advertising it realistically. It's really sad. So the American manufacturers, or I should say assemblers of vehicles, are infamously bad in quality. That's why actually so many people in the US actually own internationally made vehicles like Toyotas. They're assembled in the US, a lot of them, most of them in fact, because of the stupid federal laws where it's like, it has to be made, assembled, and sold in the United States, or else you can't touch the vehicle. It's the dumbest thing. That's why we don't have OOTs, which are some of the most hysterically impractical but hilariously fantastic and pleasing vehicles on the face of the earth from Australia, which they were created by Holden just shortly before Holden ended up deciding to sell out to General Motors. Now General Motors have owned them since like the 70s or something like that, I think. So that sucks. But it's just, I don't know, it's just so interesting and ridiculous to me. This is something they do. I don't know why I'm going off on the spur. I just went off from the whole idea of like BNSF, and now I'm talking about freaking automobile manufacturers for the last like 25 minutes. But hey, why not? Just go with the natural flow, whatever works for you, I guess. But anyway, I think that'll about do her. So, hope you guys enjoyed whatever the hell this turned into. And, yeah. Maybe you learned something today. I don't know. What up, Stevedoodles? Anyway, hope to see you guys in the next stream and or video, whatever they may be. If I finally kick myself in the ass and stop being lazy and actually edit things and then put them up. Which would be pretty damn cool if I could do that. Maybe someday I will. But, anyway, yeah. Stay safe. Have a great night, wherever you are. I'll see ya in a while. Bye-bye.